Hey everybody, this is Perch. Got kind of two mails here. One leads into the other. The first has a visual, so if you're looking at your screen, you can kind of check that out. But the mail goes, "Hey Perch, I was wondering what your opinion was on how comic book creators and those involved in the industry use social media, in particular in the negative." I mean, the short answer to that, there's lots of videos about how I feel on this. I mean, generally, I find it wasteful, I guess. But that's social media in general. Actually, it doesn't matter if you're a comic book creator or anything. You know, when you're investing time into that, it's like eating popcorn. There's no value to it. Hopefully you're enjoying the time you're having with it, but there's no lasting impact to any of it, and it tends to bring out kind of the worst qualities in people. But anyway, it says recently I was on Twitter and I saw a post by Dread Pirate Mark Brooks. That is from The Princess Bride. Is that the idea? Anyway, it's fine. And well, I think the tweet speaks for itself. So in this tweet, which you see up on the screen, there's a picture of what looks like a older photo of a quarterback and a cheerleader, or a football player and a cheerleader, and they're sharing a kiss on the field. And there's nobody else around. That's a charming little picture. The uniqueness to this picture, I always notice stuff like this, is that you see nobody else on the field. Now, granted, it's close up. You have some distance there, and so there's a framing that goes on to this photo that's kind of unique and intimate. I know that one of the tricks, if you ever go to Disneyland or Disney World or one of those places, is you can find the perfect moment where you can get a photo of you with nobody else in the background. You just wait, get the right angle, get the right line, and then you take a photo, and it becomes a really powerful photo. Anyway, sorry, that's the stuff I'm distracted by, not what Brooks, who as an artist, I would be much more interested in the composition of the photo, kind of those observations from an artist. But his observation was, and he tweets, "I went to high school with people like this." So he means football players and cheerleaders. I mean, everybody went to high school with people like that, right? I think 100% of everyone. Anyway, one was married by the time they were 23. Oh, good for her. Drives a minivan and thinks Chili's is fancy. That's better than Arby's. That's a weird way of describing it, by the way. Was married by the way they were 23. Like, that's a hellish, terrible thing. I mean, if she found the relationship she wanted to build on, is that bad? I don't know. I mean, I think that's her business. Drives a minivan. I mean, those cars suck ass, but I mean, okay, gotta drive something. I'm assuming that's a shot at that she has kids and thinks Chili's is fancy. There really is no excuse for that one, but I mean, again, what are you gonna do? So at least it's not Arby's. The other one is overly invested in his kid's high school football team, so he likes his kids. Okay. Favorite color is in khaki and has a big plan for this weekend. All right. So I guess the idea there is that he's pointing out that the football player and the cheerleader grew up and had families. Okay. I'm not sure that's the burn that I don't know. Is that a burn? What's the point? I mean, that's true. The sadder part is a response by somebody, another pirate, apparently, from the little flag on there. It says, "Maybe I'm too cynical, but when I looked at this image and thought, knowing what we do now about high school football, there's a good chance some of his teammates gang raped her at some point." Jesus Christ. Knowing what we now know, you don't know shit. If that's no, there's not the high school football is not rampant with gang rape. Sorry, it's not. If that is your belief, you're an idiot. You've bought into some insane narrative, and these are all people who are unhappy with themselves. I played football in high school, for what it's worth. I unfortunately was not able to participate in any gang raping, either giving or receiving, or witnessed it, because it turns out it does not happen in high school, as much as pirates on Twitter seem to believe it does. But at the end of the day, but just be happy with whatever you got. I mean, it's bizarre. This whole thread of both individuals just reeks of this weird passive aggressive jealousy and pettiness. What one thing highly successful people, people who drive luxury cars, people who have, deep savings in the bank, people who travel a lot, people who are worldly, people who actually have a lot of shit going on in their life. One thing they don't do is wander onto Twitter and in the to use terms that the comic industry has overused, punch down at random unknown individuals in photos about maybe their life isn't happy. People who are successful and doing well just do well. And quite frankly, nothing kind of screams, I'm not having a good life, I'm not happy with my own choices, than stuff like this. Again, self-confidence, being just comfortable in who you are and what you've got, you don't get involved in shit like this. You just don't. You're broken if you get involved in stuff like this. It's weird. I don't know. The mail basically sums it up, kind of like in the same vein as I have. It's I mean, to be blunt, this is just weird and slightly disgusting. Do comic companies not have rules or guidelines on how their employees represent themselves on social media? Well, they do, but they don't enforce them. We've done this video before as well. Freelancers, it's hard to enforce them. I mean, your option is don't hire, but when your people who are making the hiring choices are also doing stuff like this, and it's loosely enforced, although Marvel has cracked down. That's why you see fewer of the staffers, the people who are full-time employees, posting stuff like this. But anyway, there's your answer. Because I just saw a grown man go out of his way to try and, I don't know, embarrass, harass, make himself feel better by putting others down and raising himself up. I just wanted to reach out and ask for your opinion, both because I value it and start a conversation now. Maybe Twitter needs the Ben Parker treatment. I mean, Twitter needs the Thanos treatment. That's what Twitter needs. I don't know what to. I mean, what do you even do with this, right? But the funny thing is, it's also pretty likely that Dread Pirate here didn't think too much about this tweet, saw a photo, pasted it in, thought, what's something kind of snarky and subversive I can write about it to kind of make myself look cooler. And I mean, for me, it's a complete cell phone. Oh no, the girl is married, and the guy is was it overly invested in his kid's high school football team. I mean, so what? Here's what I'll bet neither of these two are doing. Neither of these two are involved in absolutely third grade level shenanigans with a fellow comic creator down at a Comic-Con where they're daring each other to show up at their little 4x2 booth to have a fist fight. I'll bet neither of them are doing that. So good luck with that one. I mean, this stuff it's just petty. Anyway, I said there were two mails, so here's the other one. And this goes to it's a video I posted, Stupid or Evil. And what's funny is there was a decent amount of people in the held comments, and I guess if you're going to really object to the video and call me and my family a lot of bad names, it's good that you put the obscenities in your response, because then YouTube just flags them and stuffs them into a nice convenient location where I can look at them all at once. But anyway, that got people really heated. It got people heated because they didn't like the idea of some of the big villains that they've been facing within the comic industry. When I say villains, I mean actual real life people, not the comic characters that we're supposed to be, paying attention to. Anyway, they don't like the idea that some of those villains may actually just be dumb, and that they're investing a lot of time into portraying them as, evil sociopaths when really they're just stupid. By the way, I think that fits with the previous mail as well. Mark Brooks, I don't think is evil. I think he's just dumb, and I think he makes poor life choices, quite bluntly. And in terms of success, yeah, I'm willing to match up net worth, I guess is what I'm saying. But anyway, here's the mail, the second mail, which goes into that video, and I think it meshes nicely. Hey, Perch, I guess this email could have been a YouTube comment, whatever. In your recent video, you asked, why do some online comic fans need certain comic creators to be evil rather than incompetent? I think the answer is obvious. They need it to justify their hatred. No, I'm not accusing anyone of being racist, sexist, Nazis, etc. I'm just saying that over the years, there are some people online who have nurtured their hate toward aspects of mainline comics, mainstream comics, and that the fundamental justification for all that hate is that they are opposing evil. After all, is it really wrong to hate something that is evil? If anything, it probably makes people feel good about themselves to experience righteous fury against evil. But imagine after cultivating that succulent hatred for years, you're confronted with a new idea. The people you hated were never really evil. They were fundamentally incompetent nincompoops lacking the basic insight to help themselves, let alone scheme to destroy pop culture. Like I said, it feels good to fight evil. Having a big, strong opponent means you're brave and strong from opposing them. But if the great adversary that you have been fighting for years is just a gaggle of fools, what does that make you? Makes you more likely to win that fight, huh? Am I right? Am I? No, that's the wrong takeaway. Anyway, the mail concludes, and that's part of the reason I like your videos, Perch. Your critique that, hey, okay, that's just a lot of niceness about me. Nobody wants to hear that. So, no, I mean you're right, and look at that. So a lot, you may, if you're listening to this, go, oh, we're back to talking about the fans again. The fans shouldn't criticize anything. No, it's a pretty universal statement. Because consider what the writer here wrote, which I think is dead on, and consider it, under the lens of Brooks here in this tweet we just looked at. It becomes dumb fighting dumb. So when Brooks is doing this, he's looking for attention and he's trying to gather the predictable responses, like the lunatic who decided to take the entire photo into gang rape. It this He also believes he's fighting evil. If you look at a lot of the comic creators who go on and on about Nazis and hate groups and white supremacists and all this other kind of stuff, it's easy to turn that and perceive that into some kind of epic war between factions. But in reality, a lot of the people that you're arguing with on Twitter that you're portraying as Nazis are people who are uninterested, tweeting while at the gas station or pooping, and do not have any real invested momentum in this either. So if a comic creator is coming in going, hey, let's identify this group of people as a hate group, a lot of the people they're identifying are don't give a shit about any of it at all. And that becomes a pretty major factor in all this, because it means they too are portraying this great evil where it's not evil, it's just people fucking around. And it does go both ways. And if you are imagine the sequence of events of somebody who's been collecting comics for a long time, you like your hobby, you're getting older, you're changing your tastes, comics are also changing quite a bit. So over time, you eventually come to a point where the changes to the comics no longer match what you're interested in. And when that happens, you feel nostalgic, you feel bitter for this thing that's gone, that's been taken away. There's nothing wrong about that or abnormal about that. We can all, you could do all the platitudes around, well, you should grow up and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, hobbies and fandom and stuff like that are meant to be things we enjoy. There's a lot of money to be made in creating things that people are meant to enjoy. So, before a lot of people inside of comics go on and off about, this is people who get too tied up into comics or somehow sick and crazy, overzealous fans. Look, you wanted them that way. You wanted that. It's really important that your whole business and your job is kind of based on cultivating exactly that. So you can't, on one hand, want these very committed, very overzealous, very excited fans, and then turn around the next day and say, well, they're suddenly they don't like what I do, so they're too into it. No, that doesn't work. But once you do create this atmosphere, and then you changed it up, and people don't follow your changes, they don't like how you've changed things, you can't then turn around and call them evil, hateful people. You just lost them as customers. That's it. You lost their interest. It's as simple as that. And conversely, if you're one of the fans, if you're one of the customers, and suddenly the product changed on you and it's no longer what you think, chances are, not just low chances, but high chances, the people who changed it are either don't really care about the property, I mean, you're not dealing directly with the person who owns Spider-Man. You're dealing with the person that the company hired, who then hired somebody else, who hired somebody else to write you a little Spider-Man story on the cheap. Does that mean that the people involved are evil? If it turns out to suck, if the editing is bad, if big core aspects of the story just don't come together, now, evil is too strong a word. Just like bigoted, Nazi, white supremacists, all that kind of stuff are often, in almost every case, also too strong a word. Evil, to me at least, has real weight to it. Evil should mean something. And somebody who's a fool making the book is an evil. But you're right. It's much harder to justify you getting really pissed off at stupid. But here's my advice, and here's my curveball in all this. Maybe it's okay to be pissed off at incompetence at the same level of stupid. I don't know about you. I'm fortunate. I don't deal with too much evil in my life. There's evil aspects all around, but again, that word has weight to me, so I don't use it casually. But hopefully you don't deal with a lot of evil in your life. But I'll bet, like me, you deal with a lot of stupid. And to me, I've come to hate. Hey, hate's also a strong word, but I've come to hate stupid. I don't think stupid is kind of fun, casual, anything else. Imagine, so I got this thought process in my head, and I think this comes from listening to Henry Rollins, some old Henry Rollins, like 80s, 90s Henry Rollins, and it's like time wasting. People being incompetent, just screwing up, and thus blowing your time. They're killing you. They're killing you with a little, I think in his words, a little tiny knife. They're just like, they're just killing you with a little tiny knife. So I've come to hate incompetence. You're sitting there, and the person who's working the register can't figure out how to get things scanned, and you see that you're trying to explain to them that the cord's not plugged in, but they're just sitting there like a zombie, just clicking away like an idiot. They're killing you. They're taking seconds away from your life. I think his premise was, you should be able to sue for time. Like, I don't want money. I want life off of you. I want that time back. That's so I think my solution to at least some of this, certainly with comics, is it's okay to be pissed off at incompetence. It's okay to actually hold things to a high quality level. It's okay to expect people who are in theory professionals not to try and dunk on random football players and cheerleaders. It's okay to expect a certain level of competence. And framing it up as evil may make the whole battle and may justify your anger more cleanly. But you should never apologize or feel like you have to justify feeling upset about somebody wasting your time. Because I don't know about you, my time is valuable, so I'm pretty protective of it. I don't. I feel perfectly justified in getting very pissed off at people who waste my time. Anyway, interesting combo of events. I don't know. Social media was a mistake. I'll go there. Anyway, yeah, and imagine. No, this is just giving one on a silver platter to Mumbles. If there was no social media, there would be no channel here. Everybody's a winner. Anyway, thanks for listening.